Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're stepping away from just information. We're heading into the shadows of real personal experiences. You've shared a collection of stories with us, truly chilling accounts, things that really make you question reality, where that line between worlds just feels thin.
Indeed. And these aren't just stories, are they? They're lived events, people trying to make sense of things they just couldn't explain. Our aim today is to sort of walk through these narratives, look for those unsettling patterns, and maybe ponder what they suggest about what else might be out there with us.
So brace yourselves. We're going into some pretty unsettling territory. We've got a Marine on a remote island, a couple in an old apartment that wasn't quite right, families dealing with loss in strange ways, even childhood memories that just won't let go. These are stories with details that stick with you, that sense of the unknown.
And we'll be retelling these as they were told to us in the third person, really focusing on the elements that evoke that deep sense of fear and maybe wonder.
Let's start where the ground itself seems charged, holding on to something from the past, like our first account from a young Marine, a really terrifying time on a small island near the DMZ.
Yes, an island with a known history, strategically important during the war, a place that saw a lot of conflict.
Exactly. He was only 17, training with ROK Marines, guarding this old, rundown bunker on a really hilly island. Perfect place to hide, I suppose. So one night, his friend's on guard. They find him just shaking, eyes wide open, total fear, whispering about hearing voices, seeing shadows, stuff moving in the bunker, but nothing's there.
Pure panic mode.
Totally. Then the next night, it's our narrator's turn. He hears footsteps behind him near the bunker. Impossible, he says. There's a sheer cliff there. No way up. He turns. Nothing. Then faint whispers start. Not English, almost Korean. He remembers how scared his friend was. Then he hears something in the bunker. He kills his light, looks, and sees the shadow of someone standing over the SIM-EWs, the rocket launchers, bending down to pick one up. He raises his rifle, shouts. The shadow just turns its head, looks right at him, and vanishes. Poof, gone. He panicked, thinking, what good is this rifle against a ghost?
And the key here is it wasn't just him.
No. Later, back in Japan, they're talking. Turns out everyone in the unit had some kind of similar story from that island. They find out the island was a hotspot during the war. Thousands, literally thousands of soldiers and civilians died there.
It points to something more than just residual energy, perhaps. The collective experience, the island's history, it suggests a powerful, lingering presence tied to that trauma.
He ended his account saying, I guess the war isn't over for them yet. Gives you chills, right? That idea of the past being so present.
It really does. The way the shadow interacted, looking at him, focusing on the weapons, it hints at something intelligent, maybe still caught in that past conflict, not just an echo.
Okay, so from a war zone to a seemingly ordinary highway, rural Oaxaca, Mexico. A friend's uncle driving late at night.
And this story brings in a strong cultural element, too.
It does. The uncle's in the passenger seat, spots a horse way back in the rearview mirror, nods off, has a nightmare about a horse with these huge black eyes running alongside the truck. He wakes up terrified to find his friend driving like mad, maybe 50-mile-hours. The friend says the horse has been creeping closer for miles.
Just inching its way closer, unsettling.
Totally. They speed up, hit 65, but the sound, the clanking of the hooves just gets louder and louder. The driver's yelling, don't look back. But the uncle, fear takes over. He glances sideways, sees these large black eyes looking directly at his friend, just staring. He screams for his friend not to look.
But he does look eventually.
Yeah, the driver finally glances over, starts crying in panic, and then suddenly the horse slows down. They look in the rearview mirror, and it had no legs. It was just standing in the road, floating, staring at them with its huge black eyes.
Floating, no legs. That's profoundly unnatural.
Right. Their grandfather later told them the new highway cut right through sacred Nahuatl territory. Said the ground was salado, washed with bad energy, desecrated ground.
So the apparition is almost like a guardian or a manifestation of that desecrated energy. The cultural context, the salado idea, it provides a framework for understanding this specific, terrifying vision. It's not just a random ghost horse.
Definitely not random. That image floating there. Okay, now let's jump to Lombok, Indonesia. A completely different kind of entity. The narrator, visiting family from Australia. They're all asleep. Small back room, corrugated iron roof. Middle of the night, bang! This incredibly loud noise on the roof, then scratching.
Too loud for an animal, right? And no trees nearby.
Exactly. The narrator's mom, usually a skeptic, she gets worried, thinks it's something else.
Okay.
But her Indonesian father, Not surprised at all. Heard stories like this plenty of times.
Because it fits within a known local belief system.
Right. Next morning, local relatives confirm it. Oh yeah, Leyaks. Almost every night they've been running around on people's roofs. They describe them as humans with crow-like wings running, flying, and screaming.
Humans transforming.
Yeah, humans who practice black magic, apparently.
Yeah.
A local shaman figure, a Docx, even suspected who it might be, the lady next door and her mother. And the narrator herself felt it. Slept terribly that night, right by the window. Woke up with a really bad heat rash. Just felt awful, uncomfortable. Her dad kept feeling watched, saw the curtain move.
That's fascinating. The Leyak isn't just a spirit. It's tied to specific living people practicing magic. And the physical effect, the rash. It suggests a direct, almost physical interaction or influence. Very different from a typical Western ghost.
A human turning into a winged thing banging on your roof? Yeah, that's a whole other level.
Yeah.
Okay, one more in this section. A place with a really dark history. An old house built 1910.
Places with layers of history, especially traumatic history, often seem to accumulate energy.
This one certainly did. It was a repair shop. Then in the 60s, an underground brothel. 7 small rooms, one big one in the basement. Then tragedy strikes in the early 70s. A man murders 7 of the women working there, then kills himself in the house.
Oh, that's a lot of violence in one place.
Yeah. City shut it down. Later became a concert hall, which is when this group of teenagers, 17, 18 years old, moved in. The narrator was a skeptic at first, but then one day, lag crash, kitchen lights strobing, their pet ferret starts screaming, its cage literally slides across the floor. Nothing visible caused it.
That's classic poltergeist-type activity to start.
Pretty much. Over time, they started sensing distinct presences. 2 they felt were good, warm spirits, named Rose and Jill, maybe the women. And one very angry and violent one they called Henry, the killer. They'd feel warm hands sometimes, but also got burns and scratches. There were these 3 paintings. If they hung them in the correct order, they'd get ripped off the wall, sometimes right in front of them. Wrong order. Nothing happened. Stereos went to static.
That detail about the paintings is intriguing. It suggests intent, maybe an obsession with order or disruption of it, points towards intelligence, albeit disturbed.
And Henry got worse. Slamming doors, cupboards, throwing plates, glasses, handprints in shower steam, faint women's voices. One night, someone accidentally knocks over a vase with a Nerf football.
Yeah.
Shatters. Instantly, the narrator and her friend feel burning, find scratches on their backs, raised welts. Henry's activity just skyrocketed after that.
A clear reaction to an event that strongly suggests an intelligent entity, not just residual energy, and a malevolent one, given the physical harm. It's a complex haunting, layered with both residual feelings and an active, angry presence.
That's awful. Living with that, naming them, then being physically attacked.
Okay, let's shift now. Sometimes these things don't just stay in one place, they seem to attach or focus on individuals, especially the vulnerable.
Yes, this moves beyond place-based hauntings into something more personal, often more insidious, an attachment, like this next story. Pasadena, California. A couple moves into this beautiful, historic attic apartment, but had an odd energy right away. Doors moving on their own, slamming shut. Their cats, usually cuddly, suddenly refused to stay inside. Just stayed out all day, sometimes all night. The partner, a skeptic, blamed the wind.
Until he couldn't anymore.
Exactly. One day, he's home alone, calls the narrator, totally freaked out, said he saw a man wearing all black walk through the apartment, into our bedroom, onto the balcony, and fade away.
Yeah.
Skepticism gone, instantly.
And that was a turning point.
Oh yeah, the beginning of torture, she called it. She started hearing footsteps running up and down the stairs every night like clockwork around 2 a.m. Sleep deprivation kicked in. Always felt someone was standing right next door. Then the whispers started, like right in my ear, she said, telling her to end my life and other awful things. Just constant, rapid, intense whispers.
Psychological torment.
Yeah.
Very common with malevolent attachments, and often affects others in the house too.
It did. Her boyfriend became withdrawn, detached, started drinking heavily every day. Then he started waking up with scratches all over his back, his legs. Then bite marks appeared.
Physical attacks escalating.
And then she made a mistake, she realized later. She was alone and started talking to it, asking this energy, please leave us alone. Direct engagement.
And after that, everything just got much worse. TV turning on by itself, max volume. One day, her cat gets thrown across the living room, screeches, runs off. She felt cornered.
That's terrifying. The escalation after being addressed as a classic, dangerous pattern. It's like the entity felt acknowledged, empowered even.
She eventually consulted a psychic medium who confirmed something non-human was with her. Multiple energies, actually, with one attached to her partner. He did a cleanse, gave her partner a specific bath ritual. It brought peace for a few weeks.
Temporary relief is common, but deeply entrenched entities are hard to remove. Yeah, they were away at a wedding. Partner calls her hysterical. Dishes just started falling off shelves, smashing on the ground. They broke the lease, got out. Found out previous tenants also heard footsteps, slamming doors, always felt on edge. Even in their new place, first night, 3 a.m., a pipe bursts. They were terrified something had followed them. He's a total believer now, understandably.
It's a harrowing example of how destructive these attachments can be, impacting mental health, relationships, physical safety, and a stark warning about engaging directly with unknown entities. Sometimes silence is safer.
Truly disturbing. Now let's touch on children's sensitivity again. We have a few accounts from one source showing how kids seem tuned in. The mother mentions her daughter complaining of a headache. Mom looks over, sees something pop up at the foot of the bed, then go back down. Described as white, with long pointy ears and big eyes, a creature with no fur. Mom tried to say it was the Easter Bunny.
But the child knew better.
Yeah, daughter insisted no, it wasn't. Then her eldest son, when he was younger, was adamant he had an older brother named Molted. Maybe Mort. He had a speech impediment. Said Molted lived far away across the water. Talked about him all the time.
Imaginary friends are common, but sometimes the details feel specific.
Right. And the daughter, around age 4, also complained her blankets kept moving at night. Like, lifted up so high she couldn't reach them, and she heard things moving in her closet. Then the youngest son, age 4, is in bed with Mom, whispers, "Mommy, do you see those shapes?" Described white shapes changing forms near the bathroom door. Said they were scary.
It's compelling when you have multiple children in the same family, across different ages, reporting different kinds of phenomena, visual, auditory, kinesthetic. It suggests they aren't just imagining things based on suggestion. There's an openness there, perhaps, that fades with age.
It really makes you wonder. Now, a story from the narrator's own childhood. Age 3. Rented house. After a few months, he starts sleep talking. Every night, 9 or 10 p.m., saying things like, "Chocolate man, I'm sleepy. I'm tired, chocolate man, please let me sleep."
That's unusual and specific.
Very. Then one morning, wakes up early, 5:30 a.m., sees his closet doors open, feels just sheer terror. Sweating, can't move, tries to run to his parents but feels paralyzed, can't even make a sound, just crying silently. Ends up in his parents' bed, terrified. Refused to sleep in his room after that.
That feeling of paralysis and overwhelming dread is significant.
When his parents mentioned the chocolate man sleep talking to the landlady, she just started crying. Came back later holding the narrator, sobbing, gave him rosary beads. Then she told them her 21-year-old son had hanged himself in the closet, in that room. He was African-Canadian.
The chocolate man, a child's innocent description.
Exactly. Not a monster, just
Yeah.
a description. And the terror he felt wasn't from the spirit itself, maybe, but the lingering pain, the echo of the act.
Precisely. It's incredibly poignant. The child wasn't interacting with malice, but with profound residual sorrow and trauma. It shows how deeply these imprints can affect even the very young.
Heartbreaking. Okay, let's move into communication. When the departed seem to reach out, or when people try, sometimes unwisely, to contact them.
Yes, these accounts touch on that thin veil again, but from the perspective of intentional interaction, crossing that boundary.
First, a really touching, if unsettling, story. 2011, the narrator's Uncle Norman passes from cancer. At the moment of death, his body apparently straightened out stiff and kind of hovered before settling back. Weird start. About 30-45 minutes after he died, the narrator gets a call. Static-filled. From Norman's old phone number, a phone that was beat to death and disconnected. He figured it was just a family member using it somehow.
But it was disconnected.
Right. A week later, another call. Same number. This time through the static, he clearly hears Norman's voice, unmistakable, yelling his nickname, Dawn, Dawn. He tries talking back, just gets static, hears his nickname again, then it hangs up. He looks, and the old dead phone is sitting right there on his mantle. That's where the call came from.
Incredible. A direct vocal communication from a disconnected device.
It doesn't stop there. Months later, his father also passes away. His cousin Tiffany is deeply traumatized, not speaking. His mother asks him if Norman ever called him after he died. Then she shows Tiffany her cell phone, a text message. From Norman's old cut-off phone number, the text just says, "It's okay."
Wow.
And the narrator recognized those words. They were the exact words he had used to comfort his family during their losses.
That is profound. It suggests not just a desire to communicate, but an awareness, a specific message of comfort delivered through impossible means. Love and concern, finding a way, perhaps. It's deeply personal.
Well, moving, but also, wow. Now, for a very different kind of communication attempt, the Ouija board.
Ah, yes, the classic warning. Often starts innocently.
Totally. Two friends, Allie and the narrator, make a board out of paper. Laughing at first, seeking answers. Then they get serious. Something starts moving the planchette. Slow at first, then faster. Says it's human, born BC. Claims it knows angels, spells out ANOA. Says it watches the narrator, but specifically says not a guardian angel.
Already a bit ambiguous, setting up intrigue.
Then they ask the big question, are you a demon? It starts to spell Zozo, then stops, spells D, implying yes, it's a demon, if not Zozo specifically.
And then comes the validation, the part that hooks people in.
Exactly. Gives incredibly accurate personal info. Confirms Allie's best friend was killed by her boyfriend, a man. Confirms the narrator's uncle's initial, grandpa's initial, and that he died of cancer, lung cancer. Spot on.
That accuracy is what makes it so disturbing and convincing for the users at the time. But it's often mixed with manipulation.
Oh yeah. It then says it will kill the narrator's friend. Then says, just kidding. Claims it's Satan. Then says no. Says it doesn't know where the internet or school is. Seemed really chill, narrator said, mostly just messing with us. But when they asked if it was lonely, the planchette literally flew across the board.
That sudden shift in energy is telling. It highlights the deceptive nature, benign, playful, then revealing something darker or more volatile. Ouija boards are notorious for attracting trickster entities, or worse, you're opening a door without knowing who or what is on the other side. It's risky.
A really potent cautionary tale. What started as fun turned genuinely unnerving fast. Okay, final story in this section. A theater, visited twice, years apart. Huntington, West Virginia. Narrator first goes age 5, early 80s, sent to the restroom with her cousin. Down winding stairs, they find this amazing room fireplace, 4-post bed, clothes lying around, music, laughter, but no people. In the bathroom, a hairbrush with blonde hair, a lit cigarette, still burning, in an ashtray. The boys with them reported similar strange things in the men's room. Adults saw nothing.
A classic time slip scenario, almost. Or a very vivid residual haunting experienced only by the children.
Fast forward, she's 11 now, 1989. Same theater, instantly feels watched, sees a shadow on a balcony that just fades out. Then she's directed to the restroom again. Same archway, same stairs. Intense deja vu hits her. Nausea, panic attack. Feels like something bad happened there before. Flashes of the room, red carpet, gold sconces.
The body remembering, perhaps. Or the place triggering the memory.
She goes down the stairs with her friend.
Yeah.
Sees the fireplace again. And everything came flooding back. Suddenly this beautiful, elegant woman is just standing there with them. Appeared from nowhere. And the woman addresses the narrator by her middle name, Dawn.
Whoa, okay, that's direct, intelligent interaction.
The lady explains everything. Says the theater was a vaudeville hall during the Depression. Actors lived downstairs. Many died there, some even buried behind a phone booth near the stairs. The room they saw as kids, the main sleeping quarters. The narrator asks, "It wasn't here, was it, what we saw and heard?" And the lady replies firmly, "It was here. You just so happened to experience it."
Validation from the source itself. Incredible.
And then, the lady was gone. Vanished just as she appeared. Left them stunned. Years later, the narrator researches the theater. Every single detail the lady gave, confirmed. The history, the deaths, even reports of shadow people. But no one else seems to have ever reported seeing or talking to this specific spirit described as the lovely lady in green, though the narrator saw her in cream. She wonders, why materialize for me and nobody else?
That's the profound question. It suggests a unique connection.